Section 1. The Valley. A boy stands at the edge of a battlefield. He carries no sword, no shield, no armor. In his hand, 5 smooth stones pulled from a riverbed. On the other side of the valley, a giant waits, 9 feet tall, bronze armor from head to toe, a spear like a weaver's beam. Every soldier in Israel's army has heard his challenge. For 40 days, the giant has walked into the valley and dared anyone to face him. 40 days, and not one man has stepped forward. Until now. But this story begins long before the valley, before the giant, before the battle that would be remembered for 3,000 years. It begins with a shepherd, a harp, and a God who sees what no one else can see. Section 2. God chooses his shepherd. David was the youngest of 8 brothers, the forgotten one. When the prophet Samuel arrived in Bethlehem, sent by God to anoint the next king of Israel, Jesse lined up his sons, tall, strong, impressive men. Surely one of them would be chosen. Samuel looked at the eldest, Eliab, and thought, "This must be the one." But God said no. Do not look at his appearance or the height of his stature. The Lord does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. One by one, 7 sons passed before Samuel, and one by one, God said no. Samuel turned to Jesse. "Are these all the sons you have?" Jesse hesitated. "There is still the youngest. He's out tending the sheep." They sent for him. And when David walked in, young, ruddy, bright-eyed, God spoke clearly to Samuel's heart. "Arise, anoint him. This is the one." Section 3. The Giant's Challenge. 40 Days of Fear. The Philistines had gathered for war against Israel. King Saul's army camped on one hill, the Philistines camped on the other. Between them, the valley of Elah. And every morning, the same ritual. A champion emerged from the Philistine ranks. His name was Goliath of Gath. He stood over 9 feet tall. His coat of armor alone weighed 125 pounds. The shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam. The iron point at its tip weighed 15 pounds. He stood in the valley and bellowed across the gap. "Choose a man and let him come down to me. If he kills me, we will be your servants. But if I kill him, you will serve us." His voice echoed off the stone ridges, and every man in Israel's army, from the newest recruit to King Saul himself, trembled. This went on for 40 days, 40 mornings, 40 challenges, 40 silences. No one moved, no one volunteered. Fear had frozen the entire army. And then David arrived. Section 4. The Arrival, a shepherd among soldiers. David had come to the valley on an errand. His father Jesse had sent him with food for his 3 oldest brothers who were serving in Saul's army. He arrived at the camp just as the army was going out to their battle positions. He left the supplies with the keeper of the baggage and ran to find his brothers in the ranks. And that was when he heard it. Goliath's voice thundered across the valley, the same challenge, the same dare. And David watched as the soldiers around him, grown men, trained warriors, shrank back in fear. David couldn't understand it. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? His brother Eliab heard him and burned with anger. "Why did you come here? Who's watching the sheep? I know your pride and the wickedness of your heart. You came just to watch the battle." David didn't argue. He simply said, "Is there not a cause?" Word of David's boldness reached King Saul, and Saul sent for him. Section 5. Before the king, the lion and the bear. Saul looked at David and saw what everyone saw, a boy. "You are not able to go against this Philistine. You are just a youth, and he has been a man of war since his youth." But David spoke with a quiet certainty that didn't come from arrogance. It came from experience. experience that no one in that tent had witnessed. Your servant used to keep his father's sheep. When a lion came and took a lamb from the flock, I went after it and struck it and delivered the lamb from its mouth. When it rose against me, I caught it by its beard and struck it and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear." He paused. "And this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, for he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." Saul studied the boy's face. Whatever he saw there, it was enough. "Go," Saul said, "and the Lord be with you." Saul offered his own armor, his bronze helmet, his coat of mail. David put it on, tried to walk, and took it off. It wasn't his. He couldn't fight in someone else's armor. He picked up his staff. He went to the brook. He chose 5 smooth stones and put them in his shepherd's bag. And he walked into the valley. Section 6. The Valley, face to face with the giant. Goliath saw David coming and was insulted. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" He cursed David by his gods. He promised to give David's flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. David did not flinch. He called back across the valley, and his words are among the most remarkable ever spoken on a battlefield. "You come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin. But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you and take your head from you. And all the earth will know that there is a God in Israel. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands." Goliath moved forward. David ran, not away, but toward the giant. He reached into his bag, set a stone in his sling, and let it fly. The stone struck Goliath in the forehead, and the giant fell, face down, into the dust. No sword, no spear, no armor. A shepherd boy, a smooth stone, and an unshakable faith in a God who fights for those who trust him. Section 7. Reflection. The story of David and Goliath has been told for over 3,000 years, and still it speaks. Not because it's a story about physical strength. David didn't win because he was clever or lucky. He won because he had spent years in the quiet, tending sheep, fighting lions, singing psalms, building a faith that didn't waver when the giant appeared. Every person faces their own valley, their own impossible challenge that makes everyone around them shrink back. The question has never been whether the giant is real. It always is. The question is whether you believe the God who prepared you in the quiet places is the same God who will stand with you in the valley. David did. And that made all the difference. If this story moved you, take a moment to subscribe. Every week, Golden Verse brings you the stories and scriptures that have shaped the faith of millions, told the way they deserve to be heard. Until next time, be still and know